Hello, YouTubes, and welcome back. This is Grimweird and our fearless avatar, Zombie Steve. And we are playing through Enigmatica 2, Expert Edition. And I am no expert, so I'm learning lots of stuff as I go. But last time we were able to successfully get our hands on some yellow Nitor. And so we are going to make some. What is it we're going to make? We're going to make some. Well, we're going to do the cave illuminator. And for that, first we need some illumination powder. So tap it with the resonating wand, and boom. So then we will try to make the actual cave illuminator. And I need another aquamarine. See if I have one up here. Yes, I do. I'm still in a bit of a state of a mess from I've moved a lot of my stuff downstairs, my inventory downstairs, but I also still have a lot of stuff up here. So, and it looks like I'm going to be short a considerable amount of Starlight. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but we might have to wait until night to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and I think that would stay safe if we put it there, but I'm going to go ahead and come back and do that at night. So I'm going to continue to work on organizing my inventory as I do. Basically, every time I take a run down the ladder, I take a few things with me and try to find a new place for them. One thing I did just do is that I had a number of levels of experience above 30, and I don't like to let it build too much because I don't want to lose it if I do anything stupid like attack a dragon again. So I didn't want to burn some of that up, and I was able to get a power 4 bow and combine it with my current bow. So now for as vanilla bows go, an Unbreaking 3, XP Boost 3, Multi-Shot 4, Infinity Withering, Power 4, Insight 3 bow is a pretty decent vanilla bow. Now, I know most of you are probably saying, dude, just make yourself a crossbow or a shuriken and tinkers. What are you doing? Well, I need to spend this XP on something. And the bottom line is that as soon as I have a charge pad or some way to charge something, I'm going to build myself a laser gun, and that's going to be my ranged weapon and possibly my melee weapon of choice for the rest of the game. So this is just something to do. And this is almost no work for me because I'm an old vanilla hack. So, working on enchantments is just something that feels easy and natural and don't have to think too much about it. So anyway, I'm going to continue to fart around with setting things up downstairs, and when it gets to be night, we'll come back up and make our cave illuminator. Alright, so I took a load of stuff downstairs and I went over and fed my cows. So now we're up to 4 cows from the original 2. And I'm clicking on this and the starlight's coming out. And my table is charging up. So we should be able to make our cave illuminator now. Yep. And so I will... Oops, I gotta get my resonating wand out, tap the table. Yay, cave illuminator. So now, as a test run, I'm going to jump cut and I'm going to run over to, well, first let's see what we get. I like to open the loot chests quickly because sometimes I get something that's so cool and so immediately needed that I want to change my plans. So what am I after? I am after Astral Sorcery Cave Illuminator. A lily pad is not such an item. So we will go light up. You see all this debug stuff over here. I'm having an issue. I guess it's a really relatively common issue where I will occasionally lose sound to Minecraft. and F3T, which reloads all the resources, does that. But that's all the resource packs, everything. So that's it's a pretty long pause in the game. So I got to look for a better thing to do about that. But anyway, I'm going to get out my hang glider and my slime sling. And I don't think I've videotaped me doing any traveling recently, so why don't we just run over there together? It's not too long of a trip by air. I probably should have turned on the waypoint beacon for it though, so I can remember where we're going. Let's see, I called that the dungeon on. And there it is off in the distance. Whoops. Dang leaves. Now we're off. Boy, I tell you, these lavender fields are a pain in the butt. I was trying to do something there and I got a bag full of lavender. It was no fun. Delete. I do love the glider though. And here we are. We'll land on the roof. Seems like a good spot to land. And then we will set out the cave illuminator. And we want to take a look at our boundaries here. So we're going to set it up probably around the center of this, and then it's going to illuminate, I think, this one and all the way out to here. So we're going to illuminate a big old swath of the underground area here. So that should be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and set this bad boy up right about there. Now this does take time. It will add like one every several ticks or so. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to base and fart around for a bit, do some other stuff, line up whatever we're going to talk about next. And then we will come back maybe at the end of this episode and go down there and see what we're looking at. So for now, though, we're going to turn their F9 off for our boundaries. And I'm going to think of something else to do. Be right back. Okay, I am back, and I figured while we were working on Astral Sorcery, we might want to just check and see if there's anything else we can get some quick loot chests for and progress on. So the grindstone is a really easy recipe. Just a couple wood, a marble, a couple sticks. So we might as well bust that out. Then we've got the Starlight crafting altar. So now this gets into a bigger crafting altar than the one we got. So I'll have to figure out a more interesting place to put it. But we might as well make it and get the loot chest real quick. And then we've got the Fossick Resonator, which apparently highlights areas that receive larger than normal amounts of starlight at night. And that is only an aquamarine, a bucket of starlight, a couple marble, and a gold. So we're going to go ahead and craft all of these. I got plenty of juju now. So we will make this. So that's a 1. And also we're going to try and make this. Get my bucket back out and try and make this. I did run over and make another night ore at our crucible. So that all looks ready to go. And I also did pick, this is by far the smallest rock crystal I have. It's not necessarily the worst purity in cutting, but it's by far the smallest. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with Astral Sorcery. I'm just going to fake it till I make it. But I did, sort through the dozen or so of these that I have and pick one that seemed reasonable. So now I'll get my resonating wand back in my main hand. Ooh, boy, all sorts of excitement going on. Whoa, okay, so it actually turned it into the crafting altar here. So that's exciting. But quite often when you just change a block in the world, your quest book doesn't recognize it. My quest book, which is gone. Where'd it go? Oh, it's in my hand. I'm also old school enough that I'm not used to having an offhand thing, so that sometimes confuses me. So yeah, it's not really recognizing this. We might have to just see if we can destroy it, pick it up, and there it goes. It recognizes it now. And then we'll move it over a spot. It only seemed to didn't take up too much room, so we'll continue to sort of fart around here. Yeah, that's a good enough place for it for now. Whoa, it's different. But let's see if it still does what I want it to do. Because we also want to make the, what was it, the grindstone. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to grind things up in this game. You got like macerators and crushers and all this crap. The grindstone is very manual, so it could be another, instead of the small plate press, this could be another one that you might make real quick. And it may have a recipe or two that are that's better than others. So if we take a look at it real quick, oops, did I pick it up? There it is. Uses. So it may be the only thing that makes stardust. I don't know, but it does have a decent chance of doubling your output. I think you have to just right-click and right-click it. So this 85% chance to double output, I think there are so many industrial mods in this that can do better than that, give you a 100% chance of doubling your output. But basically now we have this, so if there's any recipe that is specific, like maybe aquamarine dust or something is specific to this grinder, we will have it available. So we'll throw that over in our thing, throw it over in a box and pull it out if we ever need to, or see a recipe that it would work good for. And let's take a look at those loot boxes. Claim. 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 Grilled cheese sandwiches. It's a food that we haven't eaten, so, you know, hey, we will take it. I've gotten worse things. A ranged collector, rare, from Actually Editions. I don't know what that does. Could be good, could be not good. An Ardite coin. Not sure what that is either. It's common though, so it's probably not a huge deal, but we got 64 of them. So let's, so basically you throw that in the numismatic dynamo, so it's a thermal expansion power source. 64,000 RF per coin. That seems like a decent amount of RF for a stack of 64 coin. So, you know, maybe we'll make one of those dynamos since it probably gives us a loot chest anyway, and plug all those in and see what happens. Again, this is, I am not an expert, especially at modded Minecraft. I'm more of a vanilla guy from like years ago. But the fact that all of this stuff is going on, all of this weird loot chest and stuff, this is helping me learn a bunch of these mods. So, Rage Collector works much like a hopper in that it collects items around it. Having the power, however, to, let's take a look at the book. Void Crystal, it takes 2 Ender Pearls to make, so I'm glad we got a free one. 6 blocks around it with a filter. Doesn't auto output its items. Well, still. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty nice. I'm glad I got this. Um, that is something that I'm sure I will find a use for. That's a big area. And it's picking things up, and it's got a wider blacklist, so we can filter up and only pick up the items that we want. So there will undoubtedly come a time when I find that useful for something. So we will throw some of this new stuff in here in my mods thing that I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with the mods yet. And then I'm going to pause here and take a look at the time. And if we have time, maybe we'll go attack that dungeon and see if the Illuminator has done its work. And if not, I will come back with another small something to do to cross off our list of stuff that we're building and continue to work through our gates and our loot chests. So I will be back shortly. All right, looks like we still got, a good 10-15 minutes left for the episode. So I stopped by, fed my cows, so we are starting to get some doubling going on here for some exponential cow growth, and the herd has taken shape. And now I will pause again, and we will, you can just fly along with me, what the heck. Oh no. Serpentine. These damn redwoods are tall. All right, here we go. All right, Boots, settle down. We're here. So let's run down there and see if we've, one, gotten some cave illumination going, and two, if we got any good stuff. And I should, in case, because the spawners will still spawn, I think, even if the cave illuminator is doing its thing. So I'll get out my cardboard boxes in case we have some. I'd like to pick up a skeleton spawner if there's one down here. All right. Huh, it's already lit up. And there are a lot of bookcases. I may have misread the situation. I saw a structure that looked very much like this on one of my earlier test playthroughs, where I just, sort of ran around the world and farted with a few of the mods that I wasn't familiar with. And when I got down here, it was all dark and had spawners and what have you. Whereas this looks more like some old library or something. So we'll just go ahead and steal a few things here. And this may just end up being a little anticlimactic. But hey. I will now have so much books available to me. There's something going on back there. I am also going to want to pick up a bunch of free carpet, because, hey, free carpet. Who doesn't like free carpet? we did have one cave illumination here, so you can see the little thing. So these guys are interesting. I think you can also create some flares or something, which makes this effect without doing the whole cave illuminator thing. But you can walk through it. It's not really there. It's not an item. If you don't like it there, like I put this over my base on my trial play of this game, and I had some that were right at eye level, right in the middle of my base when I started digging down, so that was a pain. But you can get rid of it by just putting a block over it. So like if I were to set down like a dirt block right there, it would destroy that. The other thing I want to play with is I got to find out, I think you can make this effect targeted and on purpose with some sort of flare. So I got to look into that, and if not, I might want to try lighting some floors in my underground cave I did try this briefly as I made my ceiling, and then I made little pockets of dirt on the ceiling to close off a couple of spaces and make them dark. And the cave illuminator filled those in for me and actually made some targeted lighting that way. And so that might give us a more pleasant light than those sea lanterns that we have. So I might try something like that as well. Is this part of the dungeon, or? Yes, it looks intentional. Interesting. Hey, finally we have some chests. Get out of the way, vines. Restonia crystals. I don't have actually additions cooking yet, so not a bad thing to have some of those available. Those of you that have already played a lot with Biomes O'Plenty or whatever this structure is from probably find this pretty boring. I apologize, but it's new to me. Here's another cave illuminator thing. You can see how if you were trying to light your base, having that at eye level is a bit of a painful view. Just sort of looking around, making sure that I guess this place doesn't have any torches, so it would be crawling with monsters without the cave illuminator. So, oh, and another one just appeared right there. That is one thing it does. It is pretty slow to go, so like if you are put it above some place that you want to mine, it doesn't really do a great job of keeping up with you if you like go running off into the distance to mine something. Doesn't really keep up with you too well. But since things won't spawn on top of you, it's usually okay. And then if you leave and come back later, they're usually all populated. We do sort of want to keep an eye on where we're at. So, yeah, we got, well, it looks like there's lots of stuff here. So we came down, I think we've been through this area and this area, and now we're going through this area. Looks like there might be some stuff back to the south, so we might have to double back and look for that. Another thing I've noticed when using the cave illuminator is that you do occasionally have to watch out for, like, if you plug, if you destroy, pick up some lava, or destroy some sort of light source. It's something you might find yourself in a dark area, and it may take a bit for the cave illuminator to catch up to that action. Well, each particular chest here is not super impressive, but we are finding a number of them. Hopefully we will Hopefully we'll find something. An ender book. I already have an ender book, which I haven't really used much of, but at least that's something. It'd be good to have a spare. It makes me wonder. So I think you can put 10 points or 10 waypoints in your ender book. But if you have two ender books, now I would guess that you would now be able to use 20 points or waypoints. So maybe that's a good thing. All right, onward. Gosh, these vines. Restonia crystal blocks. It's actually a lot of Restonia crystals. So, and another ender book. So yeah, there's some good stuff down here. I'm glad we came down here. And the cave illuminator is making it very easy to move around without worrying about cleaning out all the monsters that are spawning. And another ender book. We're on a roll. Gonna have a whole ender library. I guess that fits with the theme of all the bookshelves we got. Another ancient tome of knockback, which is not that interesting, but hey, it's a something. Bit of a maze down here. Ooh, a cyclic building scepter. I don't think I've ever used that, however, it sounds neat. I suck at building, and I know there are a couple of tools that help you build faster. I think I've used one before. It would put down like I think you could cycle between like a 4x4 16 block square or a 16 block line and then lay them all down at once. Is that a thing? I seem to remember using something like that before, and I found it very handy, so I will have to look into this one and see what it does. I don't know if I've scanned something like that, so I'm gonna, hey, I learned something new. And I completed my ores research, just like I knew I would, or hoped. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't know what you're doing, as long as you just keep doing it, and eventually you'll figure it out. Looks like we are back. Oh wow, that's a whole nother area. All right. More bookshelves. We are going to have an insane amount of bookshelves after this. I think I've already got like a stack of bookshelves just from raiding 5 villages worth of bookshelves. But this is good. I'm using up paper by scanning the night skies and scanning the sun and scanning the moon. And I think Thaumcraft might end up using a lot of paper for all of this thing I'm supposed to do with the research table. Still need to look that up and figure that out. So doesn't hurt to have a bunch of these because I can always smash them into books. Whoa! And then smash the books. Or I can also just go nuts with vein miner and accidentally take a huge chunk out of the wall. So here's a case that shows, how slow sometimes that cave illuminator can be. So I'm just going to throw down a torch because we don't want to wait for it. Alright, this is probably going a little over long, but I think we have reached about the end of things here. Cave spider. Is it coming after me? Yes. Oh, we missed there's actually a spawner back there. I don't think I need a cave spider spawner. So I think I'm going to charge and kill. Oh god, there's two of them. Hurry, hurry. Alright. Because I know Ender.io will let me play around with those, and I think Industrial Foregoing, or there may be some other mod that lets you play around with the broken ones. So Global Traveler will send we're back outside. Alright, so let's see, what did I miss? Where did I just come from? Just came from some sort of cave spider land, maybe over here on the right. No. Alright, well, I think that probably covers this. We didn't get a, oh, it's this way. We didn't get a skeleton spawner, which was one of the things I was sort of hoping for here. But we did get a crap ton, a veritable library of books, Ender books, and bookcases, and what have you. So on the whole, I'm going to call this a great success. Take one more look here, make sure I don't miss any chests, and then we will go collect our... Oh, I did miss some. We'll go collect our cave illuminator, and I'll find someplace else to set it up. A diamantine crystal and a rod of elevation. And again, I mentioned this early on, but if you're just starting out in this game, so if you're just starting out this mod pack, you do get a bunch of black quartz in various chests in either here or in villages. And I highly recommend you can, on your part builder for Tinker's Construct, you can actually, without using a smeltery, you can take some of that black quartz and make a sharpening kit. So you can go straight from flint, your very first mining pick flint with only the ability basically to mine stone and copper. You can take that and slap some black quartz on it for a sharpening kit, and boom, you can immediately jump up to lead, which is like harvest level 5, skipping harvest level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you're starting this mod pack out, if you're watching this and thinking, hey, I want to try this too, keep your eyes open for that black quartz in the first, little bit of the game. All right, so we are probably over time. So I'm going to call it here, and I'm going to teleport back to the base after I pick up my cave illuminator upstairs. And that'll be it for this episode. Thanks for watching along if you are. Bye.